Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me today. To those of you who are visiting my channel for the first time, thank you so much for being here with me. My name's Nigel, and listen, I love gadgets, and more than anything, I love to review and compare them for you to help you make your decision in hopes that you don't waste your time on stuff that you won't enjoy. Today, we have a really exciting video. We're gonna compare the original Sonos Move speaker, which I love, by the way, to the newly released Sonos Move 2, which promises to have some better battery life and the addition of stereo sound. So with all that being said, if you end up enjoying this video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. And if you really like the content, maybe consider subscribing. I'm going to be making lots of videos in the future for you. And hopefully if you find this one helpful, you'll know when I make another one. All right, on with the video. Now, first up on the list, let's get this thing unboxed. First impression, I think that the Move 2 actually feels a little bit lighter. Now, it may not actually be when I put it on the scale, but what I can say is that it definitely feels a little more balanced. It's not tipping so far in one direction in the hand. It feels like they've really distributed the weight in a way that makes holding that handle a little more comfortable. And there you have it. It is the ergonomics, in fact, because as you can see, the original Move is actually 1 ounce lighter. So that just goes to show you improvements in ergonomics can actually lead to the sensation of something feeling lighter. That's an improvement. It's nothing major, but that is noticeable to me. Now, comparing them side by side, guys, they honestly look identical to me, other than the color itself is different this time around. Any of you who have ever seen the white arc or the white beam will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's actually a extremely bright white product. It looks great. We also have a slightly different configuration for the buttons on the rear side of the unit. We have a toggle for the voice assistant off and on. They've also ditched the infinity / figure 8 looking button. And then of course you have a power button and a line in, which is exactly the same as the previous unit. They've also changed the configuration of the top buttons, whereas you had a tap for the volume up and down. They've now included the touch-sensitive volume slider, which might be familiar to you if you've seen the new Era 100 or 300 speakers. I think that possibly it helps you to dial in a more precise volume level. Besides that, you know, it looks good, and an easy way to differentiate the two would be to look at that top button panel and notice that the volume slider would only be included in the new Move 2. Okay, and really quick, I just wanted to make sure to mention that you cannot stereo pair a Move Generation 1 with a Move Generation 2. The Sonos website explains that due to the differences in the internal architecture, they did not make them capable of pairing with one another, which I think is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now here's the big stuff. Do these sound any different? And if so, how much and in what way? Let's get into that. One of the first things that I'm going to demo is going to be actually one of my own songs. My newest release, New Day, which you can download and stream from any platform of your choice. Shameless plug, of course. But one of the things that I noticed about this song is when I play it through the Move, it really squashes that large room reverb that I added to the vocal track in that song. Let's go ahead and demo that first.
Don't be sad, don't you cry, just let go of your pain. And when you fall asleep, know tomorrow's a new day.
Although there is a noticeable difference, it's not as impactful as I was hoping. I am not the greatest engineer. We need to probably move on to some higher level, big production music. Things like hip hop tend to have a little bit less instrumentation going on, a lot more low end, basically real drum heavy, real bass heavy. Those tend to come across just fine because you don't really have sounds that are fighting for those same frequency ranges. It's going to sound just fine on either. Moving into something like rock, where you might have two separate guitar tracks, a rhythm guitar, a lead guitar. Okay, now we're starting to see some more clarity from the Move 1 to the Move 2 because of that stereo separation. Now, on some well-mixed jazz music is pretty fantastic. The fact that you can now tell that the engineer has panned those different pieces of the drum kit into different areas, and as the person is moving around the drum set, you're having it bounce around in stereo, which in turn makes a much more interesting and pleasant listening experience. Moving on to battery life. Now, guys, this is one of the biggest selling points of this new speaker. It's claimed to get up to 24 hours of battery life. I wasn't able to find anything that said at what volume level you're able to achieve this. So I went in and said, I like to listen to this thing average volume level 70%, let's just say. Okay, when I'm outside, you need to turn it up a little bit louder to make sure that it can fill that larger space. So I ran it at 70% from a 100% battery and was able to achieve 23 hours at 70%. Now, I think that's really good. Your mileage may vary. Bottom line is, it's a Bluetooth speaker. The battery life is important, and I don't think any of you would be upset with the performance of the battery in this new speaker. Now, we're going to go over some of the most frequent use cases that I think are going to come up with most of you guys out there that are watching this video right now. First up on the list is going to be someone like myself that already has the first generation Move speaker and is curious if it's an upgrade to move on to the second generation. And what I can say with all honesty is that I don't feel like this Move 2 is a big enough upgrade for someone who currently owns that first generation Move. And let me explain why. Although I have described that there are clear differences in the sound signature and the ability for the new speaker to portray stereo sound, I don't think that in the type of scenarios that people are using a portable speaker, that they're looking to have this analytical sound, that they're even concerned about stereo separation. You're putting one of these speakers down outside by the pool, at the beach, at the lake, at a friend's house, in the driveway, right? These are the scenarios where we're using this speaker. And in those cases, you're not going, gee, I wish I had a wider sound stage. No, you want music playing in the background and you want to be able to hear it. You want the bass. You want to be able to hear the high end. You want a full range speaker. The Move 1 is still perfectly capable of checking every one of those boxes. Now, another scenario could be a person who owns the first generation Move speaker, but wants a little more volume or has a bigger outdoor space that needs a second speaker to more fully cover the whole area. In that case, well, of course, you're going to want to get the Move 2. You have better battery life. You have a little bit better sound. If you are ever using one individual speaker in a listening environment where you are able to sit down and listen to the stereo separation, cool, at least you have the option. The last scenario that I think might be kind of important is you're someone who is looking for a Bluetooth speaker who isn't currently involved in the Sonos ecosystem and also has no intention of building out a Sonos system. Should you buy this as your one single speaker? I would say no. I would say that at this price point, if you're not building a Sonos system for your home, there's lots of better options out there, and the first one that comes to mind would be the JBL Boombox. As far as portable speakers are concerned that are in this $400 premium price range, the JBL Boombox, I think is the best portable speaker of all time. You can get more volume, you can get more bass, you can get more battery life, and you can do it for the same price. Outside of all those scenarios, some of you are just wanting me to say, do I recommend the speaker or do I not? If you've got the money laying around, you need a Bluetooth speaker, or you're like me and you're just crazy about Sonos and you want to add an additional speaker to the ecosystem, absolutely, you guys, you will not be disappointed. This thing sounds so amazing. Battery life's great, the sound is great, the form factor's great, the portability is there. I don't think you can go wrong. That's my bottom line. I think you're gonna love it. That wraps up this video. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you want to see this ugly mug again. Have a wonderful day, each and every one of you, wherever you are. Take care.